Here are the materials that I'll use today. I've got a piece of Arches 140-pound cold press paper cut to size. This is Gatorfoam board. It's nice and sturdy so it won't bend or warp whenever you place the wet paper on it. I've got some paper towel and a towel to soak up water. I purchased this squirt bottle at a local garden store. It's inexpensive, $3 or $4. I have an inexpensive stapler, and I always make sure there's staples in it before starting. And I'll open it like that to use it. Standard staples and a 1-inch brush to move the water around. I'll lay down the towel to soak up water. Here's the Gatorfoam board. There's a smoother side to the watercolor paper, and there's a side that contains a bit more texture, and I'll use the smoother side. I've experimented with lots of different ways to stretch watercolor paper. Everything I'm doing now, I've learned from other artists that I follow. So I went to Gatorboard after watching another artist's YouTube video. And I learned this spray method from a different watercolor artist that I follow. I encourage you to research and try different techniques until you come up with one that works for you. So let's get started. First, I'll spray the foam board. Making sure there's water covering it. And then I'll lay the paper down, rough side down, and spray the smooth side until it's completely covered. This is really wet. You can move it around, make sure the water's covering the paper. And I'll turn it over and do the same to the other side. Make sure the water's covering everywhere, and I'll move it around. I want to make sure that this paper is completely wet and completely covered on both sides. Give it another go. This is where, if you like, you could use the brush to gently move the water. First dampen the brush. And then use the brush to gently move the water over the paper. This is sopping wet. Okay, and now I need to make sure that the smooth side is facing up. And I'll place it where I'd like it to go. It's okay if your paper begins to buckle. It will dry flat. And now it's time to staple. Make sure you have enough staples inside the stapler. And I'll staple right along the edge. Some artists like to use heavy-duty staples. I'm just using standard staples like you would use with paper. Now I'll get the corners. Okay, that's what we've got so far. And now I'll go in and staple in these gaps. I'm using lots of staples. Okay. Make sure again everything is covered. And now I'll do a quick cleanup with the paper towel. I'm just cleaning up the area around the paper. I'm not quite touching the paper. And now leave it alone and allow it to dry. It will take a couple hours to overnight, and what you'll see is it will begin to buckle. In fact, it's beginning to buckle now. And that's okay because it will dry flat like this. And that's it. That's how I stretch paper. And I've learned from other artists who are kind enough to share their techniques. Thanks for watching.